I've been at a weird place with Ponytown lately, if I'm being completely honest with all of you here. I've been making videos on that game for almost 4 years now. In fact, actually looking at the channel, the first Ponytown video was posted 4 years ago. So when I first started making Ponytown videos, I kept thinking about what happens when I run out of ideas to do with it. I figured it would happen eventually, maybe even only after like a year or two of making videos on it at most, because every single week I would come up with a dozen ideas or so, and that would fill up either 1 or 2 weeks or a week and a half worth of content. And sometimes I'd stress over it a little bit, and then boom, it would just come to me, and I would come up with like 4 ideas, and then I could just do it. I never really came up with the answer to that question: what happens when I run out of content for Ponytown? What happens when I run out of ideas for Ponytown? Because I got so busy making all of that content. But here I am now, 4 years or whatever into that content, and it's starting to run a little dry. Thus, the weird place I'm at right now with Ponytown is the lack of content to make for it. Do I just keep making wishlist videos and builder highlights and the same few series over and over and over again forever? Because, I mean, I do have a few of those. I have series like Skella on the Streets, or the Fortune Teller Skella thing, or the Bad Games. I have a lot of fun making these, but at the same time, the same thing over and over feels kind of lazy. Not to mention the issues with doing them over and over again. Eventually, I would need new minigames to add to the Bad Games, or it would just get too predictable and similar to every other episode. In fact, the same thing could happen in multiple episodes if I wasn't careful and continued to do it all the time. There's only so much you can want in Ponytown, so even just 2 wish lists at this point in time is probably too many. So what do I do? And what if people stop sharing their islands for a week or two? Or what if the islands that are shared are just bad islands that I can't really highlight because they're not worth highlighting? That leaves the Fortune Teller Skella series and the Skella in the Streets series, but both have run into other issues, which adds to the weird place I'm at with Ponytown, because it's not just the content that makes me at a weird place for Ponytown. The people are just kind of different. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but everything seems very different in Ponytown. At least if you're a longtime fan or a longtime viewer on the channel or player of Ponytown, you'll notice that people seem different on that game now. I've tried on more than one occasion recently to film Skella in the Streets or the other series and stuff like that I mentioned before. And the issues that I ran into are that I've only run into countless AFK players or players that just ignored me. Fuck, I made an entire video of Skella in the Streets, and the title of that video was "Everyone's AFK." So when they finally interact back, it's usually not anything video worthy, of course, because it's like the people have changed, as I said before. I get more real or serious responses. It used to be that I could go up to almost anyone and they'd play along, so to speak, asking them why a horseshoe is in my microwave, for example, and they just give me this hilarious answer, this hilarious reason why. It feels like nowadays, if I go up to random people and ask that question, they're gonna be like, I don't know, why is there a microwave? Why is there a horseshoe in your microwave? Right? That's what it feels like these days. When none of these things happen, one of 2 things happen instead. Either everyone is so caught up in arguments with one another, or everything lines up magically and actually good content can come out of it. I remember a couple of months ago, I went to the docks to try and do another Fortune Teller Skella video, but there was about 100 players all huddled up on top of each other, covering every tiny little space around the docks, and every single one of them were complaining and arguing and fighting over every little thing, and all I could think about was, why here? Why in Ponytown? I don't think I've ever seen discourse like this in VR chat or in Minecraft lobbies, like in the Hypixel lobbies or what have you. I haven't even seen shit like this in FPS lobbies, like Call of Duty. I don't see stuff like this. I know people argue in Call of Duty lobbies, but it's nothing like this. In Call of Duty, it's usually about skill that people complain about and argue about and all this kind of stuff. Oh, you're just trash at the game and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But in Ponytown, it can be about any subject in the world. Politics, religion, sexuality, race, liking a specific condiment, or other random opinions that mean nothing to anyone. I see these arguments, this overwhelming discourse, and it kind of breaks my heart in a way. Have you ever seen or ever been in the car with some friends or something like that, and suddenly 2 of them just start fighting over something random, and it just seems like they had beef there this whole time that you didn't know about? Or maybe you've been in the car and your parents start arguing about something at random, and it's Is that not hard to watch or be around? Is that not disheartening to see? That's what it feels like, seeing these arguments in Ponytown. Except now I've gotten used to it. Now it's still annoying, but it no longer comes unexpected. It comes very much expected. It's like watching the news and seeing post after post, upload after upload, article after article, claiming another horrible thing is happening in the world. Ponytown used to be an escape from that world-ending mindset, but now it is that mindset. Now it's the place people go to debate or argue or whatever you want to call it. People come here to debate world issues and exclaim all of their beliefs and attack anyone with a different view than them. That kind of environment is the biggest reason why Ponytown is in a weird place for me right now. It's killed any motivation to get on the game. I used to get on every day or every other day and find a nice place to sit and watch other players while listening to music, hoping one random person would come up to me, and then boom, conversation and maybe a new friend or a lovely interaction of some kind, maybe even a funny one. But I just don't do that anymore. There's plenty of places you can go to avoid these arguments or debates or what have you, but they're usually taken up by players in parties or friend groups or AFK players, roleplay groups, or just in general, people that you can't just as easily approach and interact with at random. I feel like my channel is a good indication of how things used to be versus how they are now. In one of my oldest videos, I went around trying to steal wings off of players because I had made a Skele character with wings. The premise was that I could switch to the character after doing so, and it would be a funny mess that me and this random player could enjoy. After only a couple attempts, I found someone that fully committed to what was going on, resulting in a hilarious anime-esque battle between me and them. It took almost no time to have this experience, and not once did anything get in the way. Or what about the other fortune teller videos, which are not nearly as old? Those were filmed at the docks, and there wasn't any of this can't record here today moments because Discord was nowhere near as bad. I used to call docks Billboard Row because the only thing you saw there were people advertising their roleplays or species or regiment groups. It was still a lively place, but it was filled with people having or looking for fun. So making content isn't the only reason why Ponytown feels so weird right now. It has transformed into this weird place that I honestly don't feel that comfortable with. It feels like I could be roped into any of this controversy or arguments at any moment, like just a complete random. I could just suddenly be roped into it somehow. Because of all of this, I am a little lost at what to do. My channel was never intended to be a Ponytown channel. I just found the game one day after looking for MLP games and thought it was neat. I thought I could go on and troll Flat Earthers or something like that if I happened to find any, because at the time, Flat Earthers was the funniest thing to me. An entire community of people believing the Earth was flat was and still is funny to me. Now, before that, I posted whatever I happened to be interested in that week. Dream Time, where I shared the dreams I've had in the past, was pretty fun. I have a few Warframe videos. I think I even did a GTA video or two. Minecraft was another big one. I shared news, story times, rants, opinions, Pokemon ripoffs, my original board games, and all sorts of stuff. The reason everything was random was because the goal of my channel has always been to share these wonderful ideas and make people happy or entertain them, even if it was just for a few minutes. Meanwhile, the channel acts as a creative outlet that I crave more than anything it cannot escape. I've been doing that forever now. Not just with this channel, but ever since I was a kid with consciousness, I've been making shit up. Books, comics, toys, games, all these random things. Just anything I could physically create or change or do something creative with, I did it. Because that craving for creativity has always been there, and I think it always will. So I guess this is all to say that I'm also at a weird place with my channel and maybe my life as well. I don't know what to do here because I feel like I've relied too strongly on Ponytown to grow this channel, and now Ponytown is dying in a sense. Not in a reality, because in reality it's doing better than ever with more and more players coming every single year, but the people are different now, and so I'm not sure what to do with the channel. The whole reason why Ponytown kept kicking off and stuff like that is because obviously I was having a ton of fun with it, but also it brought in a lot of viewers and stuff like that, and that's very rewarding. So now I know my content is actually entertaining people, and so I want to feed those people more entertaining stuff. And so that's why Ponytown kicked off the way it did, because rather than doing a bunch of random stuff that maybe a few people will find interesting, I could do Ponytown and thousands of people will be interested in it because they were getting a lot of views like that. But now they don't get very many views, and then whenever I do some other random thing with maybe Monster Hunter, for example, which I'm a huge fan of, it also doesn't do very well. So I'm at this weird point with my channel now. I'm not sure what to do, but I guess I'm going to end it here. Let me know in the comments below what you think I should do with the channel, what you think about all of this little discussion that I've had here with you today. And yeah, that's going to do it. Peace out.